I would like to mention about public comments at this time. We will be opening the floor for public comments. We will be limited to a total of 30 minutes for public comments. So that means individually you will have 5 minutes of comments to make. We need to stay on topic. We need to stay on the agenda. We're not bird walking. We're not taking too far away from the topic at hand. If there are anything that you need to address me specifically, not anyone else on the board. Our August 15th meeting, the public comment section went a little bit too long, and we want to take note of that and make sure that our public comments remain a little bit more succinct. Thank you all to the Kentucky Department of Education and everyone being here. We want to be mindful of everyone's time. We want to make sure that we're not taking too much time out of everyone's evening. We want to make sure that we can see everyone has a good time with Robert's Rules of Order. And so that's why, instead of an exception was made at the last meeting to extend the public comment section, we're going to nip that a little bit shorter today. We do have some feedback for those in the audience. We did make an exception then, but our exception tonight will be 30 minutes and 5 minutes individually during our public comment time.
You had said that our comments must be limited, to those 5 minutes for this meeting tonight.
Open public comments, that's correct.
Well, I do have a few questions that I do want to bring up to everyone's attention. Am I allowed to do that tonight?
You can, but be mindful of the time limit.
Oh, of course. Of course, within the time minutes. If you give me 5 minutes, I will manage with that time limit. No problem. Thank you.
I also want to recognize several individuals that are here tonight. Dr. Fletcher, our Commissioner of Education. Shannon Sparkman, our Director of State Schools. Associate Commissioner Greta Helton. Thank you all for being here. We're going to have our roll call. Madam Secretary.
Haley Brock, Robin Bush, Scott Hahn, Jeff Kessinger, Keela Parton,
Scott's here. Jeff's here. Kayla's here.
Aaron Roden, Kathy White, Bethany Yance.
Here.
Do have a quorum.
We have satisfied the need for a quorum, so we'll be able to make motions and have a vote. We do have a 9-member board. We have 1 member that is vacant as of right now. To satisfy the need for a vote, we need 5, and we do have those. We are on the search. We've asked Dr. Petrie, as well as KDE, to recruit for available position, or for our vacancy of the position we have at the board. I'm looking for a motion for the approval of the minutes for this meeting.
Scott proposes some feedback, criticism for the minutes.
Everyone in favor of the meeting minutes as corrected? The corrected meeting minutes will be given to our secretary. They have been given to her earlier. Motion passes and we're going to proceed. Dr. Petrie? You're up, sir.
I apologize, I'm not feeling the best, but I'm gonna go ahead and start. I got 4 things that's on the agenda for tonight. I'm gonna introduce new staff. I'm going to do a dorm update with Justin, our dorm director. We're going to go over the junior NAD, the open weekend, and then we're going to finish with our athletic updates. The new staff, we have one, that's the front desk secretary. Rachel Caldwell, she is on the front desk. Next, I want to introduce our new assistant principal. We'll give her the floor, let her talk a little bit, and just briefly introduce yourself. Amy Strassner.
Hey everyone, most of you all know who I am. I am Amy, this is my sign name, associate principal at the school here. I've been working for about 4 months now. I know all of
Next, we'll do updates with the dorm.
Good evening. It's good to see you guys out here tonight. My name is Justin Paget. I am the Director of Student Life here at KSDAB, in charge of the dorms. I've got some new staff to introduce. We're always excited to have new staff in the dorm. These three individuals are all third shift staff. They're not here tonight, but they'll be here in a little bit. But Hannah Bennett works with our middle school girls. Leah Greer works with our independent living students at night, third shift. And Trayvon Smith, new male staff, works with our high school boys. So we're super excited and glad to have those folks on board in the student life department. We're also very excited. We've got some new appliances. We've had some ARP funding that has come through for us, and we've been getting deliveries since the end of July in the dorm, and we are super excited to have new appliances, microwaves, refrigerators, stoves. We have a really nice Blackstone griddle. Foundation donated that to us. We appreciate Scott Hahn and the foundation for always supporting student life. We certainly appreciate that. The kids are really enjoying getting to throw down some hibachi on the griddle. So that is something that we've certainly been very, very proud of. It's actually over at the Presbyterian Church because it'll be used in the morning to start pancake and sausage and bacon for the pancake and sausage day. So they're going to utilize that over there in the morning. So we're certainly excited. We have a creamy. I don't know if you all know what a creamy is, but it is like an ice cream maker. We've got one in each of our dorms. Kids are really excited about that. Air fryers, microwaves, I don't know, we're just real excited. We have kitchenettes, we're calling them kitchenettes, so kids are able to cook and have snacks, chicken nuggets and that kind of thing. So we're super excited about that. We're continuing our activities, keeping the kids as busy as possible in the after-school hours. Rec, basketball, and cheer just kicked off this past week with practices, so we're super excited about that. Kiddos are practicing and getting ready to cheer. We have a KSD cheer squad for the rec league, so they will cheer for our rec basketball players. So we're super excited to have them. Madison wants to sign up, is that right? But that's all I have, Dr. Teacher. I try to keep it short.
We wanted to save all this time for Barbie. So she has about 30 minutes on the floor. So she's going to talk just briefly about the junior NAD program and tell a little bit about the open weekend that we had in August, I think. My dates are still correct.
Hello. I am Barbie Harris. I am a retired teacher. It's been over 38 years, and I'm still involved as on call essentially. And I just love working with the children, communicating with them. And now I'm involved with Junior NAD sponsor. I used to be a sponsor in the past, and my husband Archie Harris has been a sponsor for many years. He's retired and has passed those tasks to me, and then I retired, and then as time went on, kind of put it on hold for a few years. And so now we've had the motivation again, because the young people need that leadership training. It's so important, and so decided to set up LTC, which is an annual event starting in August. LTC is Leadership Training Camp. And it's a weekend event, and it's open to the students. And then into the future, we are discussing, we're hoping to include deaf and hard of hearing mainstream students, Kentucky only. Hoping to bring some interest so that these students can learn about leadership skills, team building skills, and really building their self-esteem, learning through games and various tasks related to team building. That is all involved in these groups. Also educating vocabularies, because there's a lot of words, understanding the words, spelling the words. For example, words like table, obviously we know what that word means, table. However, parliamentary procedure is not the same sign. And so I would like to submit a motion as opposed to having a parliamentary procedure be signed as table. Various things, with the vocabulary, having different meetings and such. That way the students can learn more and more. Also public speaking skills. For a lot of students, they can be shy. And this is a great opportunity to encourage the students. And us sponsors, we really exemplify how to do public speaking, because as they go out into the world after they graduate, they need to know, they'll remember that they learned public speaking skills from Junior NAD. And it's not just Junior NAD, the leadership skills apply to all groups, FFA, Boy Scouts, TSA, ABG, all sorts of things. So the leadership skills that they learn would benefit themselves greatly. And so we really appreciate giving that open weekend. We're thankful for KSD, that foundation, and all of the sponsors. I have a shirt right here that shows all the sponsors, the list of those who have donated. made many donations to help the students and their needs and the workshops. And we've invited 9 deaf speakers. And speakers include Annio Donnell. And she'll be coming up to expand more on this. This deaf speaker was great and made a huge impact on the students. The students learned a lot of things. One out of the state couldn't make it was David Hamilton. David Hamilton is a KSD graduate. He graduated from Gallaudet as well and teaches college in California. He is one of the longtime sponsors of Junior NAD as well. And he gave us a talk, and you guys will see that shown in a little bit. Also, restaurants have sponsored us as well with meals, serving meals. It was awesome with the Student Life dorm, the teams coming together with the students. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Annie O'Donnell. I'm the Junior NAD president. My name is Allison Tucker. Here's my sign name. And I am a former Junior NAD vice president, and now I'm the secretary. I want to expand on things. Hopefully, I'm not going to take too long, but Friday, the day that we had our open weekend, August 23rd of 2024, we did have that open weekend. We broke out into teams and figured out who we're going to be in what groups we're going to be in, what our mascot's name was going to be. When we got in those groups, we made sure all that was formulated and taken care of. Then Emily, Kimball, they were from KCDHH, and they presented about leadership and advocacy services. And so through their talk and what we saw, it was really fun and interesting. After that, we had a group activity. Trying to see, can you go to the next slide, please? Oh, no, I'm sorry, go back. Back to the beginning? Yes. First, what we were doing was a ball activity. So we were still separated into our teams. And the idea was to work together as a team to establish the leadership roles within our group. We also did a trust fall activity that showed, again, leadership skills and how to trust everyone else on our team. For supper, we went to Big City Pizza. Yeah, Big City, yeah. We went to Big City Pizza. We all went over there. And so, Allison? Next slide. On August 24th, we were surprised with breakfast. Donation of donuts was really nice from the sponsors. Once breakfast had finished up, we all gathered. Mr. Archie Harris, along with the Charitable Foundation sponsor, they presented to us. It was a wonderful presentation related with knowledge through about deaf and hard of hearing, and knowing your rights as a deaf and hard of hearing individual. And so they really went in depth about who they are, who we can become, and what our rights were as a deaf and hard of hearing individual, and how that could be applicable out in the real world. Through the course of those presentations, once they concluded, we had lunch. Lee's Chicken here in Danville did that. And then we took a trip to Richmond, Kentucky, where we learned about the challenge course that they had there. EKU had that. Miss Erin Roden was the one that was explaining everything for us, and you can see the photos here on the TV. But they were instructing us on how to apply our teamwork skills and what it really looked like during this challenge course day, and how it related to being able to move as a unit if we had different goals and different tasks that we were trying to get to, obstacles to weave through, and where we needed to go. And this teamwork and collaboration, we related that with real world scenarios that we could have when we're not here just at school. Arriving back from Eastern Kentucky University, Bethany Yonts talked to us about what leadership meant to us. We took a deep dive there about what leadership is, what it meant, and how we can be leaders and how we can be impactful even to ourselves. What leadership looked like in various organizations. And after that, we had a brief activity. Annie? Sunday, August 25th, Miss Barbie Harris presented about how to survive during an emergency situation, an emergency management system, albeit a hurricane, tornado, a flood. And so we broke out into 3 different groups, and we had to think through these scenarios and discuss how we would survive through them. We also had a team building activity. Some of the photos are up there now. We went outside for that one. We had to learn how to communicate with someone across the way. And so we needed to trust that team member to explain to us what we needed to do on how to be guided. And I was the person in my group that was the one being ushered or guided through this activity. We had a cookout outside, and the fellowship with everyone was wonderful. David Hamilton presented to us then from the KSD Alumni Association is who he was representing. About the World Deaf Federal Organization. And what that entailed, what David was presenting on, his topic was handicap and excellence in education. And so his presentation was virtual because he was in California during this. After that presentation concluded, we have an activity. And Tyler Epley, another Alumni Association member, presented on leadership at work. He works at Dana Manufacturing, and he talked about how to work in a factory environment as a deaf person, how to conduct themselves and I'm sorry, I'm at a loss for words. He works at a factory, and he wanted to show us what accessibility looked like for him there and what good leadership skills he has learned from there. We wrapped up our weekend with that. Thank you all.
kids the most time so they can get up and share what they've been going through, what they've had the opportunity to go out and experience. Next up, I have Tina, who is going to give us an update on athletics, talking a little bit about our volleyball season, cross-country season, and kind of giving a preview for basketball.
Hello, everyone. I am Tina Yance. I'm the athletic director for Kentucky School for the Deaf. Thank you for the honor of being here with us, the KSD members. Again, I am so thrilled to have great sports this year. We have volleyball and cross country starting this year, and we're hitting it off to a great start. I will let first one student, Sean Brown, to come by and explain their experience with cross country.
Thank you, everyone. So my name is Sean Brown. Here's my sign name. I'm a senior here, and I've really enjoyed running on the cross-country team. In total, I've been on the cross-country team for 7 years. My running has improved every year. I'm thankful for meeting everyone when we go to these meets. I'm thankful for Christy Blevins, our cross-country coach. And y'all have a good day.
Thank you, Sean. These players continue to improve every day with their time in the sports. We have 7 players, and we have 7 runners, and it's just been great. And I'm so thrilled to have these runners. Thank you so much, Sean. Now I do want to introduce our volleyball team. I'm going to pick one player. Savannah, please come up. Savannah will explain her experience playing during this volleyball season. Oh, we're having technical issues. That's fine. You can share your thoughts.
Hi, everyone. My name is Savannah, and here's my sign name. I was on the volleyball team this year, and we went to East North Carolina School for the Deaf for the Mason-Dixon tournament. It was a wonderful experience. And so what we did there is when we arrived, it was very friendly, but also very competitive. There was a lot of camaraderie with the teams, and it was a lot of fun. It was a big social event, but with so many players all under one roof, it was a lot of fun. We won the Sportsmanship Award this year. We took 4th place home as well. Myself and Allison were also named star players for the weekend. And so, yeah, thanks.
The reason why I wanted to give the thanks to the 2 coaches, Bethany and Caitlin, wanted to make an award to them, getting 4th place and 1st in sportsmanship. So thank you so much, Bethany. You've done a great job. Again, want to say thanks to Christy Blevins for her great job as well for dedicating her time to the cross-country team. Now, for the upcoming basketball season, I want to introduce the head coach, Lee. Would you please come up? Leslie Saylor.
Hi, my name's Les. This is my first year as head coach. I hope to do well this season. I'm looking forward to all the players. It'll be a good season. Thank you.
All right, I want to say thanks for his time with the men's team. We just started practice 2 weeks ago, and they're doing well. We start with a small number. We start with 7. We're up to 8, up to 9. Now we're up to 11. Yay. And so the more I'm seeing them grow, the more excited I am. The assistant coach isn't here, but his name is Dustin Tipton. He is the assistant coach for the men's basketball team. And they're doing great working together. They're working as a good team, so thank you. Now for the girls team, the head coach is Bethany Yance. Thank you so much. Could you step out as a board member?
Hello, everyone. My name is Bethany, and here's my sign name. Some of you all do know me, but to let you know, we have 11 players on the girls' team. This is the first time in a long time that we have had almost a full roster. Thank you so much to Barbie, because I'm the first alumni head coach, I think, in a long time, maybe the first ever. But anyway, I am very humbled and honored in my role. Thank you all.
Again, thank you so much for your time dedicating to being a head coach. And the assistant coach is not here tonight, unfortunately. Her name is Heather Helton, and this is her sign name. She is the assistant coach. They have worked so well as a team. They have 11 girls, as Bethany mentioned. This year, it is possible, hopefully, we'll be going to Louisiana School for the Deaf for the Mason-Dixon tournament on January 22nd, going into the 26th. That weekend. So also with the boys team, hopefully we'll be able to bring both of those teams for that weekend. I'm really looking forward to it. Very excited. And hopefully again, we'll be going on a trip on February 7th to go to Michigan to play against a team up there on their home court. It'll be a great experience having out of state. You know, this could be a once in a lifetime, you know. It's a great opportunity because once you graduate, you might not be able to go out of the state. So it might be a great experience. Meet new friends, make new friends, meet new people. These are great experiences for these kids. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you again. Thank you, Dr. Petrie.
I'll end my portion by saying how proud I am of the young people that are coming out, taking advantage of playing in these athletic events, and the coaches for stepping up and leading these young people, and the junior NAD program making a great comeback and providing opportunities for these students to become leaders. And that's what we're wanting to do. That's what our whole vision is, to create leadership here on campus. Our campus updates are going to be provided next time. T could not be here. So we're going to provide plenty of campus updates as far as what's going on with buildings, where and when. We'll give the floor over to my outstanding state director of state schools here. She's going to come up and give us some fabulous updates. Next up, Shannon Sparkman.
Well, that was beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Petrie. So my name is Shannon Sparkman, and I am the Director of State Schools. Before I begin, though, I want to thank Dr. Fletcher for being here with us and see if he wanted to speak a few words to you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Robbie Fletcher. I am the Commissioner of Education and also Superintendent of the Kentucky School for the Deaf. First of all, I'd like for someone to give me a sign name, because I don't know what that looks like. So whenever that's developed, please let me know. Now, maybe the students should do that, but we'll go from there. One of the things that I get to do is see students perform, and to see our students here participate, learn leadership skills, and just be on display, whether it be in the classroom, on the athletic field, in other areas, brings joy to my heart. As a matter of fact, I also want to take the opportunity to thank Ms. O'Donnell, who is on our Student Advisory Council for the entire state. She does a great job. She represents you and so many of our students so well. So thank you for that, Ms. O'Donnell. And I hope you enjoy being there as much as I enjoy having you there. Our students are phenomenal across the state. Again, just to see how they interact and how they learn from each other. And we've learned so much from the Student Advisory Council on issues such as there's a new program called Futurity, which allows students to do research on pathways, on career pathways, and what exactly does that program look like. And our Student Advisory Council, including Ms. O'Donnell, had the opportunity to give input to change how that program looks for students across the state. So very thankful for that opportunity. But also going back to, it is wonderful to hear of all the opportunities that our students are getting. And thank you for those that are giving of your time to coach, giving of your time to be with our students, because it also takes from your families too. And we know that here at KSD, it's all one big family, and we're so thankful for that. As far as some things that from the Kentucky Department of Education, we are working on a lot of different things across the state, including a new accountability system. We are also working on legislative priorities on how we can get more funding, not only for all schools, including Kentucky School for the Deaf and Kentucky School for the Blind, to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our students. So again, thank you for the opportunity, and I love seeing each of our students get those opportunities to succeed, those opportunities to dream, and those opportunities to represent us. And again, thank you, Ms. O'Donnell, for the work that you do to represent KSD.
Thank you, Dr. Fletcher. Last meeting, I did my best to try and sign through my updates. We are going to attempt this once again. So I apologize for what you may see, but I am working on it, and I will continue to work on it. So here we go.
I have 3 updates. First update I have for you all is in your board folder. You all have the CEASD report. That report and the accreditation is good for 5 years. Last spring, we presented to the Kentucky Board of Education about improvements. Improvements and recommendations from that report. And what we can do is present to the board next spring to the KSD Advisory Board and bring more improvements. Secondly, we want to give the they provided us KSBA some policies and some drafts. And we're ready to read through what they have. Third, during this month, Emma Riley and Shannon Shelley, they will be going to the CEC convention. And they'll be presenting on state schools. And those are all of my updates. Thank you all.
Yay, good job. Good job.
Just said you've improved. You're here. Not up here yet. Good work. Good job. Next, Paula Koff on Development Branch Manager Coordinator. This is the Early Childhood Development and Branch Coordinator. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it. I am Paula Goff. I am the branch manager for early childhood development at the Department for Public Health. Public Health does have an education program that is related to the services provided by Greta and her team and the exceptional students program, which is for infants and toddlers with disabilities and developmental delays. So we serve the total population. Each year we annually serve about 12,000 infants and toddlers. Children are in our program from birth to age 3. And we have a list of about 240 medical conditions that automatically make a child eligible. Hearing loss is one of those. We serve children with hearing loss at any level, whether it's bilateral or unilateral, at about usually between 50 to 55 children each year. Most of them are identified through the Early Hearing and Detection Program. So we get what's called EDDI. We get their referrals. They have a goal of having a child identified with hearing impairment at birth and to get into early intervention by 6 months of age. Most of our children are in early intervention by 3 months of age that we get identified. We have 15 offices across the state. They're regionally based, and we provide service coordination and then a comprehensive set of services for not just the child, but for the family. It is a family-driven system, which is very different than Part B services in the public school. Our services really hinge upon what's the family's concerns and their priorities for their family and their child. And so we see things very differently. We are not a direct therapy program. We do not provide medical services. What we provide is consulting services. We have trained coaches all across the state. All of our providers, they may be kicking and screaming, but every one of them are becoming trained in coaching and early intervention and must demonstrate fidelity to an evidence-based program that we developed here in Kentucky. And it's been very successful. What we see in that program and the quality of the services is that families are much more engaged. And that's really the critical piece for infants and toddlers, is that families are engaged, that they have ideas and desires and strategies they'd like to try in their home, and our early intervention providers go to that home, work with the family, and to coach that family in working on those strategies that mean most to their family. At age 3, children are no longer eligible for our services. About 52% of all children that we serve are eligible for the preschool program in the public schools. And so we have a transition process. We work very closely with our local education agencies to ensure, number one, they know a child is coming, that they have a potential child out there who may need their services. So we notify them in conjunction with KDE. We notify the districts, hey, there's a child out there who's going to be coming to you in about 6 months or a little bit shorter. We hold a transition conference with the local school district representative, the family, any of our early intervention providers who want to be there, and the service coordinator to talk about just what's going to happen. What are the plans for this child and the family in making that transition? In all of my years, I've been working with Part C programs for a long time. It's amazing to me. Children are so incredibly resilient. And they might fuss and fume a while, but they adjust. And they have tremendous capacity for that. Parents sometimes just don't have as much. It's harder, I think, for the families to make that difference between a home visiting program where they have a very intimate relationship with their provider to going to a public school where their child's now one of possibly up to 20 in a classroom, to, a teacher's aide. That's very different. They get, and it's not that it's bad or anything. As we try to tell parents, it's just a rite of passage. Your child's going to be with that school district probably all of their, up until adulthood. So let's get you off on the right foot. Let's get a good relationship going with the schools so that that's a positive experience for both the parent and the child. So we plan that out. And we work with the districts to share information that we can to make it an easier process. Just the paperwork can be overwhelming to families. And I'm sure some of you in this room realize that and how overwhelming that is. And so if we can facilitate that and make that easier for families, it's really to our advantage as well as to the school's advantage that happens. We have a lot of the same, very similar rules and regulations as they do in the public schools. They are adapted for infants and toddlers because they're a little different. And I always cringe when I hear somebody tell me about, they want to talk about a student that I have. We don't have students. We have infant toddlers. We have children. We don't have students, even though we are an education program. We collaborate with many other programs like Head Start, Early Head Start. We collaborate with the HANDS program, the home visiting program there. Families can have both the early intervention program and HANDS, 2 different types of services. One is focusing on parenting. One is focusing on how do we get through the daily routine and enhance my child's growth and development and figure out what works in our family. That's really 2 different types of programs. And so we do have many families that are in both and benefit from both. I'm looking over at Greta. Is there anything I've left out, Greta, or a question that you think of? Or the board have any questions?
I understand you're part of Part C under the Department of Education. Is that right?
Correct.
What about the program called First Step? What about that?
Oh, what a great question you have asked. We are First Steps. Part C is First Steps in Kentucky, or was. Let me change it. I'm an old dog, and old dogs have to learn new tricks, and it's been hard for me. We changed our name. We're now the Kentucky Early Intervention System. We go by KEYS. But at First Steps, KEYS, Part C, in the state of Kentucky are all the same program.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, great. Good question.
Thank you very much for clarifying. So, do you have any deaf role models that go visit the children's homes to show as an example, wow, here is an accomplished deaf individual. How many role models do you have under this program? If not, I think this is something that should be promoted to bring in
deaf role models to come in who are willing to work with you guys, work with the parents, to kind of show an example, to kind of give them a new way of thinking. Yes, hearing people, but there's also deaf people that can succeed as well. I think that would be a really good experience. I've done this myself several times in Louisiana. And so when they see me, they were like, realize, oh, you know, oh, so you went to college. I was like, yes, I did go to college. I've accomplished these things. You're a lawyer, you're an attorney? Yes, I'm going into law. So these deaf individuals, the children realize, okay, through the parents' support, through teaching language and writing, that type of experience, you know, my question is how many deaf role models are working in this program? That's my question to you.
In terms of individuals who are deaf, I don't know of any, to be honest with you. What we have are teachers of the deaf and hard of hearing, and we know that there is a limitation. We do try to refer families as much as possible to Hands and Voices for that type of, parent support. But we've got some things on the horizon that I think are going to be real strong additions to the KEYS program. One is, once we get our regulations through that process, we'll be doing a language acquisition measure on all children who have a hearing impairment. And so they will come in at baseline, we'll do an assessment, and then measure that as they go through. Some of you may be familiar with a program called LEAD that was kind of a national movement to look at language acquisition in students who are deaf and hard of hearing and how important that is. And so we will be able to do that piece. We've also changed our regulations or have proposed to change the regulations, that a teacher of the deaf and hard of hearing would be their primary coach for the family as they move through the system. That one, while we can put that in regulation, it's really going to depend upon having adequate number of teachers of the deaf and hard of hearing in the workforce. And we know that that's a shortage, not only in our program, but in the state overall, as it is in many states. The third thing that we're going to do is we're creating a new position that would be a paid position for what we're calling parent advisors. And those are people who either are deaf or hard of hearing themselves, or who are a parent or family member, a sibling, grandparent has a family member who is deaf and hard of hearing, that they would be available to work with families and refer to them to provide that role model and to help families see beyond what we can provide as service coordinators in our program. They don't have that same credibility or expertise as what somebody who lives it every day and their lived experience can share with a family and, as you said, open the eyes of, look what's possible for you and your child. So we're excited about that. We hope to have those regulations filed in the early spring and get that all moving forward. But it's a great suggestion, and it is something I think really and truly what we find are we have parents who when we first meet them, it's just, I got to get through today. How do I get through this week? But as they get kind of in the groove of being a parent, because we see lots of new parents, and as they get into that and start feeling a little more confident in themselves, they do allow themselves to think about the future and what's going to happen with their child, and to be concerned about what are the resources, what can be the potential for my child. And what we know and what we've known for a while is that the language acquisition and communication skills for children who are deaf and hard of hearing really make the difference about success or no success. It's going to be their foundation for reading, it's going to be their foundation for communicating and being social, and how important that social-emotional development is. So we know this is an area where our program really needs to improve.
Thank you.
Jeff asking? Bethany said many parents you refer to Kentucky Hands and Voices, but are any referred to Kentucky School for the Deaf or even the outreach program? There are some parent-teacher organizations that we've newly established here at KSD, and I think it'd be a wonderful reference for those students, especially some of those parents who are going through similar experiences that some of the families that you have.
That's a great suggestion. We work primarily with hands and voices. And so I think reaching out to KSD, and I've worked with Tony Peebler in the past, we've done some activities, they did great recruiting for us in trying to find us teachers of the deaf and hard of hearing to work with our children and families. But that's a great idea to look into those resources and get that connection more in place. That's a great suggestion.
Any other questions? I did think the same thing as Bethany myself. I'm not an expert, but I do understand that we are needing to have an improvement as a district, as a school, with all those other outlying counties and families that may be throughout the state of Kentucky. Try to collaborate and coordinate, work a little bit better with those home districts. Now, myself, I'm not familiar with what that approach may look like, but KSD does have the opportunities. And maybe some of those districts or boards of education themselves, we would be, or, it'd be a good liaison, something to dip our toes into to see how many DHH students they may have in a district school. And so it's something that I wonder on my own. I don't have a blueprint or anything like that, but it would be good to know.
Absolutely. And I think the bottom line comes down to,
everybody's got to work together and everybody's got to collaborate. And as we can build those connections, that's the way that we're going to own, all of us are going to improve. So absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Paula.
Thank
you for sharing with us.
Hope you have a great evening.
This is the chairperson's report. So for the Kentucky School for the Deaf and the Kentucky School for the Blind, have really wanted to extend our thanks to Greta. We had a collaborative meeting on August 15th. Thank you, Greta, for orchestrating that and getting us together. And
Chairperson for Kentucky School for the Blind,
Viren, thank you so much for putting us in contact with each other. I was very thrilled to collaborate and have discussions with that chairperson. Viren and myself, we've had a virtual meeting on October 8th where we were ecstatic to talk about the beginnings of Scott and Viren had discussions with years ago. We spoke for a while about how, yes, we are two schools, and we're working for a common goal. We're working together. So Viren and I jotted down our concerns and our ideas, and we're going to continue to communicate with Greta, our Associate Commissioner, Shannon, Dr. Petrie, as well as Dr. Fletcher, and hopefully we can bring the KSD Advisory Board and the KSB Advisory Board together for a joint session to where, they have their own agenda and we have our own agenda as well. And KSB's Advisory Board, they're unable to vote on our agenda of what we have here at KSD, much like we're unable to vote and approve things that might be on their advisory board. This is a very, very new concept, but it's something that I'm ecstatic about. And Viren and I are working board members may be available as well. I think except for maybe one or two that might have a scheduling conflict. But I am looking forward to February 20th and sharing it with Vernon, and seeing how that unfolds. So that's very exciting. For the annual report, I've met with Dr. Petrie, and we will be working on an annual report. This will be beginning my second term. During my first term, we did not have an annual report. August, and he mentioned several of the projects that he'll be working on, and he'll be able to provide more of a overview update at our next meeting. Mr. Archie Harris. Good evening, everyone. What are you saying? Oh, okay. Oh, you're waving. All right. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, it's good to see you all. Dr. Fletcher, is that right? I'm so sorry I haven't been able to meet you yet. I didn't know who you were whenever I walked past you, whenever I came in the building, and so I didn't realize that you were our new commissioner. My sincerest apologies, but I wanted to shake your hand. As far as the name sign, I don't know, maybe it's something like this, but definitely somebody will be giving you a name sign sooner or later for sure. I don't want to waste any more of my 5-minute time, so if you could go ahead and start my time now, that'd be great.
Archie likes to prolong his comments. He's famous for that. That's what Jeff is saying. So I got him on a timer.
Okay. All right, just so you all know who I am, my name is Archie Harris. I worked here for 33 years. And, you know, I don't know, I'll coin myself for being 37 years because I was involved with the junior NAD, and I've been here for 33 years as an educator. I want to let you all know that my wife and I went to Gallaudet for the 50th reunion a few weeks back. We saw several of our former students or graduates from here, and we wanted to extend a congratulations and a heartfelt, sincere thank you to them. I don't remember their names. They asked to also keep those private as well, due to different reasons. But they did graduate from here. There was a couple other students that graduated from here as well that have gone to public universities, but they have now transferred to Gallaudet University, and they noticed that it was a perfect fit for them to go to Gallaudet because when they graduated from here, they'll graduate in a few years from Gallaudet University. One new student that graduated, I believe, just recently, I think several of you all know who I'm talking about. But they were asking I asked them how they enjoy campus, how they enjoy college life, and they loved KSD. They wanted to extend a thank you to the KSD teachers and staff, and they miss it dearly. Now, with that out of the way, more of a concerning question related with the athletics program as well as academic bowl. Did you all know that Gallaudet University hosts an academic bowl that will be happening in April 17th through the 21st of 2025? The teams that are listed there, and I'm not sure if you've read through them, there's always a regional bowl that happens first, and the names of the teams for the regional bowl are included there. Some mainstream program schools are also there, but looking through that list, I didn't see Kentucky School for the Deaf. And I didn't know if Kentucky School for the Deaf hadn't decided to be involved, or were we not going through the region. Unfortunately, to be involved in the academic bowl, I don't think our coach is here tonight. Mr. Todd Batchy. Oh, so I wanted to ask, we do have some team members.
First things. So we do have an academic bowl team, yes. We did recently, not really enter, but we did take the annual prerequisites for the tests. However, unfortunately, we failed. And that's why we didn't enter the regionals. But we're still having practices, preparing for next year. Both of us, we have one more. Screening. They call it a screening test. and unfortunately we did not succeed, but we're still having practices in preparation for next year.
So with next year, is that 2026?
25 to 26. Hope that clarifies things. Also, our coach said hopefully we'll be on the waiting list. If another team drops out, then we would be able to enter.
Okay,
Any other questions?
all right. Well, I was concerned and a little perplexed as to why KSD wasn't on that list, because KSD has done well before. Okay, third, with athletics and sports, Tina Yance? Okay. I mean this no criticism or nothing negative. My wife and I went to Illinois School for the Deaf to celebrate 75th anniversary. I was in the hospital there for Bell's palsy. Are any of y'all familiar with that is? 1 a.m, I felt fine, but then by noon, my face was all lopsided and wondering what that was. It landed me in the hospital for a short stint. Anyway, with that aside, my point with this was, when we went there, the Hall of Fame program that they have at Illinois School for the Deaf and what they have there, and looking through everything, the assistant athletics director was there giving the presentation, and through the sports program at Illinois School for the Deaf, why, some of the sports over the years they didn't have enough students and had to close. It was really different then.
They signed with 18 other
They
schools
signed with 18 other deaf schools to be competing with, and they were all listed there. And I thought, wow, okay. In looking through all these, there was 19 teams, but Kentucky's name was not mentioned. And I asked, Kentucky should be there because they are a school for the deaf. When the program was done, I did go up and ask the assistant AD why wasn't Kentucky included, because Kentucky School for the Deaf, we're right across the river, we're not too far away. We had Alabama, North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, all the other states, but Kentucky wasn't listed. And we weren't there. And I thought that wasn't right. But they said it's because they haven't played against Kentucky in a long time. And I remembered, that we did have games. So Tina, I wanted to ask you, what's happened? Yeah, just a regular season game with Illinois School for the Deaf. They have, 18 different sports. Some of them have closed and folded, or for whatever reasons, athletics, cross country, basketball.
Well, thank you. Yes. Again, I just joined last July. Okay. And this will be short and sweet. I just joined last July, and I'm trying to, just try to do something different. And I thought about reaching out to Illinois and start a game this year, but there was a conflict of schedules. Our schedule was full, theirs was full as well. And once we filled out all of our volleyball games with our schedule, I reached out to them again. I was like, hey, let's set up a game for next year. And we did agree on a scheduled game for September, 3rd week of September. It's a weekend. We do have a game with them. Okay.
Well, remember, we're wanting to see other deaf schools, and we give our students the opportunity to travel out of state to interact with those other residential schools so they can be, in the same room with like-minded individuals and grow their culture. Is that 5 minutes? Have I exceeded my time?
I can add to that information. Like last year, our game was canceled due to snow. So that's why we didn't go play in Illinois last year.
That's fine. I was, worried about this year. They had 19 different schools that they had listed, and, all these other states, and it's, they were flying and driving and everywhere else. and Kentucky wasn't listed. Anyway, thank you all. Thank you. Jeff says thank you to everyone. Our next advisory board meeting looks to be landing the first week of February. There would be February 20th, I'm sorry. This is for the next year. May 8th, August 14th, and November 13th. And that will satisfy our 2025 advisory board schedule. Did everybody get those dates noted? Do you need a motion?
I accept this motion for this schedule.
All in favor? We have a second from Kayla. Is that right? And motion passes. I move that we adjourn the meeting at 7:21.
Amen.
Scott said, amen. Thank you all.